So I was going to ask you about, also networking. How can, immigrants leverage networking? You shared the experience about how, someone, in your network, told you about, why don't you, I see that, you would be a good business analyst or, IT project manager. And that's how you kind of, got yourself into the space. So how can leveraging your network and how can networking help you as an immigrant? Because I find this is another area of struggle.
You go on social media space or anywhere really, see a person that you want to connect with or that you feel is going to be valuable within your network. Take some time and get to know some things about the person, figure out points of connection, figure out something, and reach out to that person from
Yeah.
a genuine point. Be honest.
Mm.
I have a challenge with situations where a person just reaches out to me and wants something from me.
Mm.
It makes me feel attacked. I feel like,
Exactly. Exactly.
So, but then if you reach out and what you're trying to do is to say, hey, I saw this thing that you posted. This is what I feel about it. Really good job. Keep going. Or even if you're reaching out to someone to say, hey, you know what? I see the hairstyle that you have and I feel like it's really good. Do you have any recommendations for how I can carry my hair? Honestly, I think that it really is things that are just small like that, right? And then you
Yeah.
strike up a conversation, right? And then with that conversation, you try to take it whichever way that it goes. If there really is something that you're hoping you can gain from this person, first of
Yeah.
all, find something to give to them so
Mm.
that it's a symbiotic relationship. Of course, there are times when if you're trying to maybe network with a recruiter, you can't really give anything to a recruiter because you want a job, right? But then before you do that, make sure that your resume is well done. Make sure that you have some information about the company so that the recruiter is going to feel comfortable saying, hey, I met this person on LinkedIn or Twitter or wherever, and I feel like this person is going to be a good resource. Let me try to get them in. So
Yeah.
there is work that I think you need to do on yourself to make sure that you are positioning yourself correctly. And then when you reach out to people, you don't want to be grabby. You want to find a point of connection and then, if possible, find something to offer towards the relationship.
Sure. Something I find that a lot of immigrants struggle with is asking for help, but also being like speaking about like their struggles, right? Is it that you don't want this person to know? I don't want to be to know that I'm struggling with this problem I
Mm,
have, so that maybe she won't laugh at me or she won't. I don't know, but a lot like there's immigrants that move here and they're doing very well, and there are people that are still sort of struggling, right? I don't know if it's that they don't want to reach out to ask for help and say, oh, this is the struggle I have, if you can help me, or I don't know what it is, but I find that there's still a good number of immigrants who, especially people from Nigeria, where we come from, right? They're not open to saying this is my struggle, right? Do you have any
mm.
tips for me, whatever? Like asking for help, it's sort of a struggle. I don't know, like how if anybody like that is listening, what would you advise, those kind of people that, are they're not open to kind of sharing, what their struggles are and, finding, someone to just help them or even just advise them, basically.
I would look at it from two prongs. First of all, if you're a person who is doing well, you know, if you, I mean, I don't think I want to, I can say that, you must try to pull other people along. I don't think that that's a mandate, but if
Um,
if you can try, because we all do better. It's better for each one of us when everyone is doing well. You see what I'm
true,
saying? It
true.
removes the amount of benevolence that you have to have. It removes the situation where someone becomes dependent on you because you're helping them stand on their feet. You don't. It's better to teach a man how to fish than to give him fish. You see what I'm saying? So if you can help. Now, if you're a person who is in that situation where you're really stuck in a pickle, there are so many people who are willing to help, especially now online. You don't necessarily need someone to hold your hand. Of course, some people do, but you don't necessarily need to, like, someone doesn't have to talk to you directly to be able to take your insight and your expertise, because you write articles, you write posts, you share your story, you write little tips, you put things online. So I feel like a person who has seen you, has gone through and seen your qualification, knows that you're an analyst, you've won awards, you've done this successfully. All they had to do was just spend time observing you,
Yeah.
watching you, learning everything there was to learn about you. And then one day they might just send you a message and say, hey, I'm trying to go into business analysis. I
Yeah.
did my resume to look like the one of you that I saw, or something, something, something. And say,
Yeah.
can you just spend 5 minutes to take a look at my resume and tell me what you think? Chances
Mm,
are that you will do it. You see what I'm saying? Because they put in the effort. So
yeah.
if you have difficulty with asking for help, okay. But you would then have to invest a lot into helping yourself. You can use people's resources, help
Mm.
yourself, and get yourself to a point where at least you might feel more confident with saying, hey, this is who I am. And I want to get to know you based on the fact that who you are has helped me become who I am.
So yeah, so I'd like you to share about how that how we can how we as immigrants can grow in move up the ladder and not be stuck on that hamster wheel, because I mean it's one thing to get a job and just be stuck there and you find someone's been there for 5 years or 10 years, like
I think, and this is my mindset. Going in, I always know how long I'm going to spend at a place, right? Sometimes it may change. I remember when a job that I got, even my manager told me, he was like, I feel like you're going to be with us for about 2 years. And I told him yes, because that was my intention.
mm,
And it wasn't a thing where, and this may not work for everybody, right?
mm,
Because sometimes you have to know who you're talking to and who you're working for. Right. But then if you set a timeline for yourself, if you tell yourself, here, I'm going to do 4 years. Now you need to say within 4 years, what is the realistic maximum I can achieve? And
mm,
then from day one, start working towards that maximum.
mm,
You need to make sure that you are visible on your team. Figure out very quickly, figure out a gap that you can fill. Even if that gap is you going to meet your teammates and say, oh, hey, can I take the notes for you in your meeting and compile that? Let me start taking the notes in the meetings and compile
mm,
all of that so that we have one location that everyone can go look at all the notes, right? Or, create a sort of ad hoc job description for yourself, something that you are doing for the
yeah,
team or for your manager or something. Figure out a way to
yeah,
quickly make yourself visible within whatever space you're in, right? And then also network, right? Network with people that are in your team on your level, network with people ahead of you, network with people who are managers, find out what their journey was, find out how they rose through the ranks, and then
mm-hmm,
start to set goals for yourself. And then keep your receipts. Anytime somebody tells you thank you for a job well done, put it
yeah,
into a different folder on your desktop.
exactly,
Anytime your manager tells you, hey, this thing that you did was great,
great job,
sit there. Like
exactly,
every single thank you you get, put it
recommendations
in the
and
folder.
commendations,
Yes,
yes,
yes.
yes,
And then once you're getting to that time where reviews are coming up, start reminding people of how awesome you are. Don't be
mm,
afraid. Don't be afraid to blow your own horn. Start
mm,
reminding them about how awesome you are. Tell them the things that you've done. So
yeah,
the biggest thing in all this is going in there with the intention to do the best work. You
exactly.
cannot be mediocre. You cannot go there and just do haphazard work and think that you're going to get all the benefits. You have to go in there every single day and tell yourself, today, I am going to do work that completely outshines the work I did yesterday.
Work. All right. So I want to
Yeah.
ask you about, the daily agile, this concept that, you speak about a lot and you're always talking about it, right? So tell us about this daily agile and how you've been able to, use agility in your personal life.
It starts for me with understanding one key thing about agility. What we're trying to do when you have an agile mindset, it means that what you care about is achieving small goals that
Mm,
align to a big goal, right?
yeah.
When you think about anyone who's talked to you about productivity or winning over procrastination or figuring out how to have a more effective work-life balance and stuff like that, it all comes down to that basic concept of taking your big lion and breaking that lion into tiny little kittens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I find that using agile principles and agile values has helped me figure out how to do those things in my personal life. For instance, let's take the Scrum methodology,
Yeah.
right? We can scrum through life. We can scrum through life. You can set yourself up to have a daily stand up with, for you and yourself every morning. That way you're able to ask yourself what you did yesterday, what you're going to do today, and what's in your way. That way, you're able to set very specific, singular goals for yourself every single day. And
Yeah.
then the next day, you assess it and you're able to track your very singular, small progress. The thing with creating a sort of pattern of success is that it releases some, I don't know, some chemical in your head. It excites you, it
Mm,
gives you a kick. Knowing that you told yourself, I'm going to clean my house, and you actually clean your house, makes you go to bed feeling like a superstar, right? Now, the more often you're able to give yourself tiny little things to celebrate, the
mm,
more able you are to attack things. It's like
yeah.
practice we're talking about. You practice winning. If you practice winning so much, winning will become a habit. You
Yes.
see what I'm saying? So daily agility is working with people to help them break down everything, especially things that are particular to their personal life and their value systems, into very tiny, actionable things. Very tiny, like nothing too tedious, nothing too heavy or hectic, very tiny things. And then it also goes towards focusing on values, because again, with Agile, we're not thinking about the thing that we create. We're
Yeah.
thinking about the value that we create. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, even if we said we wanted to create, say you're trying to create this, you end up creating this or this highlighter or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, what it would have started as with um with an agile mindset is that you're trying to create something that highlights on paper to make it easier to read,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's the value you're trying to create.
Yeah.
Whatever this pen looks like doesn't matter as long as you achieve that value,
Value.
right?
Yeah.
So what we're now working towards as human beings is no longer saying, you know, I want I want my house to be in this particular place, or I want my house to be this particular shape. It is now, I want to have a house that is worth this amount of money. It doesn't
Exactly.
matter. Or I want to have a real estate portfolio that's worth this amount of money. It doesn't matter whether it is single family home, duplexes, so you shed the stress of
Yeah.
being finicky over the small details that don't matter. And then you focus on the actual value that matters. So that's pretty much what Daily Agile is. It's working with people to do all that within their personal life. Because I find that it's helped me. You must have heard me talk about self-awareness. It's helped me become very self-aware, because I now have to spend time to identify the things that are the real value for me, and then work backwards to figure out the small steps I can take along the way to help me make sure I achieve that value. And that's what I'm hoping to, help people do over the next couple of years in my career.
So how do you put this into your vision board? You talked about, having an agile vision board, right? So is this
Yeah.
agile vision board, do you kind of do it in like sprints sort of? So it's like monthly or quarterly or annual, I don't know. Tell us more about
I, I wish I was doing this video in my bedroom so I could actually show you. It's just right there on my bed. I I've been able to articulate a picture of, this might sound a little bit difficult for some people who are listening, but the way I thought about it is, at the time that I die, what do I want people to say about me?
mm,
Right? So I've been able to articulate that. And that for me is my big picture. That is the vision of who I am. I've articulated that in the different parts of my life that I consider to be important, with, the family life, career, business, friendships, just different parts of my life. And I just have that in the big picture, and I have it broken down to very specific things. And, like, I have it on there that I want to be a mentor, I want to be called an author, just several things, right? I put it all there, and that's my big picture. And then on my board, every year, on one side of the board, I write out the things that I want to achieve that year that tie into that big picture.
yeah.
It's going to change every year, because every year I'm going to have new goals. Some years are good, some years are bad, but I just do that, and I break it down into the different categories of my life. So you're going to have a career and business section. You're going to have a spirituality and faith section. You're going to have a love and relationship section. You're going to have a family life section. You're going to have, I actually have a section for life experiences, like, places I want to travel to, things I want to experience, books I want to read. I have, like, it's broken down into all of that, right? And then on the other side, on the right side, I then have things that I want to do every month. And it's really simple, consistent things. It's like, have you saved this percentage of your income this month? Have you paid your credit card bill? Have you called your mother this month? Have you spent time, so very little specific things that I want to do every month, every week, and every day. So it's those sort of little triggers that I've broken it down into. Now you could easily take the big picture of me as my big epic, the things I want to do every year as my features, and then the things I'm checking on myself every month as maybe my user stories, and then the things that I have for weekly and daily check-ins are my, my simple tasks.